Hello, everybody, and welcome to the weekly Oracle Wisdom. My name is Natalie Sadie. For those of you who are joining me for the very first time, we are going to have a look at what the Oracle cards have to say about the energies for the week ahead. And to everyone who is used to me doing this on a Monday, thank you for your patience. I was off on a family trip. My partner was there, my sister and stepmother, and we had the most wonderful week on the East Coast, and now it's back to reality. So let's have a look and see what the cards have to tell us. And just before we get started, for those of you that haven't seen, the monthly reading is up, which is of course for the month of November. I can't believe we're already at the end of the year. It feels like it was New Year's Eve a few weeks ago. So that is up. It's pick a pile as always, and those readings always blow me away because they're always so different, but there are definitely themes in every reading that I do. And when it's for the month, even though the readings are different, there are these themes that kind of carry through. So it always blows me away. All right, so we are starting with the Clarifying Life Situations Oracle, which is a MahrukhX deck. I'm just going to pull a couple of these out, and just sitting here as I was getting ready to do this reading, cards were flying out of the decks that I am using. Okay. Looks like it's going to be an impactful week. I just want to pull one more before we start going through what's coming out. Okay, so the first card out is Independent. It's time to strike out on your own and rise to the challenge. You are more powerful than you know. Free, detached, and uncommitted. Then we have Breaking Molds. Breaking boundaries, erase all identifications, anything which fixes you permanently into one mold. New way, different, and unique. Then we have Celebration. This is a great time in your life. Things are progressing with grace and ease as never before. Triumph, parties, and fun times. And then the fourth card that came out is Spiritual Tests. You're still on the path to discover your spiritual gifts, so you may grow and evolve spiritually. Inner work, awareness, and cleaning. So ultimately, I think this is a week where you're starting to get your independence back. I don't know if it was lost or if it's been something you've been striving to achieve your entire life, but I feel like this is a week where it finally starts to click and you're able to kind of go, okay, I know where I'm going. I know what I need to do, and doing it on my own is absolutely okay. And I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered having to sort of stand there on my own I'm just having a vision of like a lone oak tree in the middle of a beautiful field, being that symbol of strength and standing there without the need for anyone or anything else. Breaking molds, yep. You're over playing the safe game and waiting for other people's approvals and waiting for them to tell you what you should be or how you should be. I think a lot of us spend a lot of time fitting into the boxes that other people give us and say, this is a space that is there for you. And that's where you belong. And I think this is a week where you turn around and go, do you want to see who I actually am? And that gets me so excited because I say this all the time. There is only one you, and there is a reason why you came to this earth. That is your superpower. And the more you try and be the sheep that goes along with the herd and does what you're told and just follows, not because that's who you are, but because it's how you think you will be accepted. It's how you think you will be liked. It's easier that way. This is a week where you're like, fuck that. Do you want to see who I am? I'm actually a giraffe. sorry, I'm not a sheep. I can't go with you. I have to be over here and eating leaves from those plants up there and just doing my own thing. I don't know how great my metaphors are today, but this is what it is. And Anne Elizabeth, you are not a good sheep because I know you and I love you just the way you are, you weird giraffe. Okay, so celebration. So I think these things and having these realizations, honestly, I think that in itself is enough for celebration, because you'll finally feel free when you are living life as the version of who you actually are. There is a freedom in that, and I think that the joy you'll feel from all of that is what's going to top all of it this week. The other thing is we're coming into the holiday season. We have Thanksgiving coming up here in North America. We have I know they just had Thanksgiving in Canada. But then it's followed by Christmas. We've obviously just had Halloween. So in the physical world, it's very possible that there is actually going to be parties and celebrations that are coming up. So I think the celebration card does work on a couple of levels. So it may be time to get really social. And honestly, when you're sort of standing up and you're breaking those molds, often it's the perfect time to welcome more people into your life, because as we become more authentic, often the people that want us to fit in that box and only fit in that box, these people start to fall away because they resent us being true to ourselves. And so you have to let those people go, but that means that there's room for new people to enter your life. And then there's spiritual tests. So being on your path to discover your spiritual gifts so you may grow and evolve spiritually. I think this is an evolving journey that we all go on for our entire lives. And it's kind of like shadow work, in that we work on ourselves for a bit and then we kind of go, okay, look how much I've grown, look how far I've come. And then we stop, we take a break. And it's not that the journey's over, it's that we need to integrate at the level that we're at, and we need to adjust to these new gifts, this new depth that we have sort of uncovered. And then once we stabilize and we're comfortable in that space, then it's time to continue on. So I think that the spiritual test is part of this, like becoming independent and breaking the mold and getting comfortable with that. I think that in itself is a very big test to all of us for how we move through this world. And I say that because when the herd starts going, hang on, you need to be back over here, like shrink your neck down, walk on your knees, don't be a giraffe, you've got to be a sheep. It's sometimes easier, rather than facing losing certain people that we thought were our friends, or going out into the world as somebody completely different. And there is that fear of the unknown because we don't know what's ahead of us, because we're in completely uncharted territory. But that's the exciting part. That's the bit where we go, oh my God, I get to go and explore and I get to do all these different things that I hadn't done before. But it can also be terrifying because the day is no longer predictable. So I feel like that in itself is the big spiritual test, because when you're doing that inner work, it's a matter of trusting the universe, trusting the timing, trusting yourself, and that you're being authentic. Okay, so a couple of other cards jumped out. One being bad gossip. People are gossiping behind your back. It would be wise to be careful with your actions right now. Bad reputation, enemy, bad talk. So I don't think this is about you needing so much to watch your actions. I think this is being aware that when you are making big shifts in your life and when you are stepping into this new paradigm, for lack of a better word, the people that are uncomfortable with it will talk. They just will. It's human nature. It's how people function. And you know what? Let them talk about you. Let them say whatever they want. If you are being authentic, if you are coming from the right place and doing the things which are answering your soul's calling, and you're in a knowing of who you are and where you're meant to be, don't worry about the gossip. Don't worry about it all. It's none of your business. There was some celebrity one time was on a talk show, and they asked her, it was female, and they said, you know, how often do you Google yourself? And she said, I don't. It's none of my business. My mom once told me it was none of my business what anybody else thought about me. And she said, I made the mistake of Googling myself once, and what I saw was so horrendous that I never wanted to know again. And I think it's a situation like that right now. I mean, pay attention to who you're trusting with information right now, especially about your life. Trust people, or be careful with who you're trusting in regard to your deepest desires and the direction that you're moving in. Just because you don't want to give people that aren't worthy that much access to you as you're moving in this new direction. But yeah, let them talk. Let them talk, because you know what? If they're so busy talking about what it is that you're doing, it means they're not out there living their own lives. Then we have protection. Protect your energy and guard yourself against the people and things that drain you. Security, guard, vulnerable. So yeah, not paying attention to the gossip and the talk that is out there is paramount this week. Protect your energy. So if that means you need to have a little solitude and take time for yourself, which I think is important for everybody, regardless of what is going on in any given week, I think time alone is one of the most important things we can do for ourselves. I have just had the most wonderful week with my family, and we've been on a journey, and it's been wonderful. It was also wonderful coming home and being in my own apartment, in my own bed, and not having to be up and around people as soon as I woke up this morning. My plan had been to do this reading hours ago, but I just needed that time. So like I said, watch who it is you're investing your time in, watch who you're confiding in, protect your energy. And listen, that might be also doing a protection meditation before you step out into the world. I always like to ground myself, and I always cover myself in white light, clear out any negative energy. I always cut ties with everybody in my life. And it's not about cutting ties to remove them. It's about cutting ties so that I am not bound to any one human. Our connection is real and genuine without there being these spiritual holds that either of us have on anybody else. And it's also about cutting ties with any of the people that maybe don't want the best for me. And then I always end it by covering myself in gold light, because gold is the color of protection. Then the final card from the Clarifying Life Situations Oracle is Fire Within. Find a way to reignite that energy in your life right now and immerse yourself in what you truly love: passion, action, and driving force. So this is a week all about you. It's about authenticity. It is about stepping into exactly who you are in a way that is probably going to shock some people. But I think that is a wonderful thing for you and the world, honestly. And I mean, the biggest test is going to be the sheeple that will gossip, mock, try and pull you back in. And you know what? They're not worthy. They're not worthy of your time. They're not worthy of the worry that they're trying to create in you, because you're too busy breaking molds, going on your journey, and just doing all the things that you need to do for you. And Kimberly, I am so pleased, thrilled that you're enjoying the new feeling of freedom and embracing your giraffe creative self. That makes me so, so happy. Okay, so I'm using a new deck, and I know none of you have seen it on this channel before because I only bought it while I was in Rockport. And this is, I've never seen this deck anywhere before, and it's a local artist. It's called Emergence, Inspirations and Insights from the Artist for the Collective. And I absolutely fell in love with this deck. So, okay, we have a couple of things coming out. So the first one being Snowy Owl, Wisdom and Clairvoyance. So this may be your own inner wisdom that is coming out in terms of you know exactly what it is you're meant to be doing, and this is your time to go and follow that. The other thing is you may need to, as you're on this journey and breaking molds and stepping into who you are, you may need to go and seek guidance from somebody who you consider to be wise or wisdomous. I know wisdomous is not a word, but it's a word that I love because I came up with it, and I think it's very fitting for what we're talking about. But I think if this is a week where you need to seek counsel and guidance, go and do that. It can only benefit you, even if it's just to give you assurance that you're on the right path by somebody who has walked this path before. Then, and the clairvoyance, I feel like some of you are going to get visions or messages or an inner knowing, like a claircognizance type of thing, where you just know the answer. Maybe you go, I'm going to have to go and find someone and ask this question or that question or whatever it may be. But all of a sudden, just as you think about it, you have the answer. And for me, that's what it's been a lot of my life, claircognizance. There are things that information I would come out with, and I would give people answers and advice. And then somebody would say, how the hell do you even know that? I'm like, I have no idea. I've never experienced this, but it's this all knowing. And when I say all knowing, I mean every cell in my body tingles because I know the answer. So I feel like that's coming for some of you, and maybe you haven't experienced it before, but this is your time to listen to that. Then we have Falcon, Inspired Action and Speed. So the inspired action, again, for me, it's all about the growth and you stepping into who you are. I feel like this really is more confirmation of what these first cards were telling you. And I feel like this is going to move reasonably quickly. Like once you surrender to what is happening and who you are meant to be, I feel like it's going to kind of all fall into place and all move along really quickly. Then we have Hive, Service and Contribution. And kind of like with this deck where it says from the artist for the collective, I feel like there is going to be an element of serving those around you. And it doesn't need to be on a massive scale. It might be, being a way shower, and you're showing others what is possible when you decide to trust the universe and step into your power and actually move forward with your soul's calling. So I feel like there really is an element of this, and I don't know, maybe it's a spiritual journey that I've been on, but I feel more and more like we are all being called, while fulfilling our own needs and taking care of ourselves and doing that first, kind of like being on the airplane and putting the oxygen mask on yourself first. But we're all being called to give back to the community, whether it be in a larger way or in a more community or family-based way, but we are being called to give back. Okay, I knew there was one more that needed to come out. Elephant, Wisdom and Power. So there is, with elephants, with a herd of elephants, you have the matriarch, and she really runs that herd, and she holds all this knowledge, and there really is a family hierarchy to a herd of elephants. And I think that this is a time, like I said earlier, if you need to go and seek guidance, go and do that. Go and find that person that is your oracle or is your owl to get the guidance that you need, because they will help you, and they'll help you on your path, and that assistance and that wisdom will help you move further along than maybe they ever could. And this is how we keep having developments in the world, in that people see and learn from the people that came before them, and then they're able to push the boundaries that little bit further. The other thing that I want you to remember this week is the absolute power that you hold. Elephants are some of the most gentle creatures on this earth, but if they need to defend their young or the herd or anything like that, they are some of the most powerful animals on earth just because of their sheer size. But for you, the message is that you are just as powerful, and you need to remember that. So again, if the spiritual test gets a little bit tricky, pull back, make sure you're protecting yourself, but remember the power that you hold. And remember the power that stepping into exactly who you are and who you are meant to be and what you are meant to fulfill in this life. Remember the power in that, because it's huge. It's so huge when we're actually walking our path. And the thing that so many of us don't realize is when we are being inauthentic, everything becomes more challenging, because the universe will always support you, but it's not going to support you in the way that it will when you are walking the path that you came here to walk. So there is power in just doing that and stepping into that, in that the universe will help you in a much deeper way than it maybe had previously. So keep that in mind as well. And we are going to finish just with one dragon oracle card. Oh, Earth and Fire Dragon works with you to clear the fifth dimensional ley lines. It's time for service. When you give, you receive. So, yep, all of these things that are coming through and all these changes, it's leading to you serving the community around you. Like I said, it can be the immediate community around you, friends, family, helping them, stepping up for them, being a beacon for them, or it could be a much wider community and doing something in a more public way. But you are being called to help those around you, and as a reward, the universe will give back to you tenfold. And this is the beauty of giving. It's a beauty of gratitude. When you exist in these really beautiful spaces which are not selfish, you end up with so much more. So please keep that in mind. I'm really excited about this week. To me, this is amazing that we have so many people that are starting to shift into their authentic selves and really embrace who they are, really be true to the soul contract, soul journey that you signed up to or for when you came here. And I think our world and our communities are going to be so much better for it. As I always say, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Not every reading is for every person, but if this is for you, man, I'm excited. I'm so excited. If you missed the beginning of the reading, just know that the November monthly reading is out. Pick a pile. I love doing it. I filmed it before I went away, but the monthlies always blow my mind. So make sure you go check those out. And I will be back in the studio with David on Thursday for full disclosure. I'm so grateful for Anne filling in for me this past week so I could just be present with my family. And I know that everyone on High Vibe loves when Anne is on the show. So have a wonderful week, everyone. I will see all of the High Vibers on High Vibe on Thursday, and I will be back here next Monday for the next weekly Oracle Wisdom. Have a wonderful week, everyone.